Hi, I'm Kenny Dewitt, and today I'd like to talk to you about the theory of evolution. It's difficult for me to believe that in this day and age of technology and modern sophistication, we still need to explain the many facts surrounding the theory of evolution to a large group of people who persist in believing the universe was created in 6 days. Yet here we are again, for as many times as genes have mutated, trying to enlighten those who read and place stock in an ancient story from an ancient book written by unknown authors in the deserts of the Middle East.
Argument number 1. Evolution is only a theory. Yes, I completely agree. Evolution is only a theory. And if you think the word theory equates to a guess, then you don't understand the definition of the word when used in scientific context. It is, by definition, a well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the natural world, based on a body of facts that have been repeatedly confirmed through observation and experimentation. Mitosis is a fact. Meiosis is a fact. Natural selection is a fact. Common descent is a fact. Gene mutation is a fact. And the list of facts go on, clearly substantiating the theory of evolution. In over 150 years, the theory of evolution has never been successfully refuted in the scientific arena, though many have tried. Gravitational theory is yet another aspect of science that is only a theory. Every person who has ever tried to prove the gravity was only a theory by jumping from a tall building has won the Darwin Award, thus successfully removing them from the gene pool. Creationism, on the other hand, is not a theory. It is a story of a magical and powerful old man who lives in the sky, with no peer review, no substantiation, and not one single fact. When seriously contemplated, it isn't even plausible, let alone believable. Argument number 2. If man came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? This one always makes me smile, as I think to myself, if Muslims and Christians came from Jews, why are there still Jews? Or when compared to creationism, if man came from dirt, why is there still dirt? The question is so absurd, it doesn't merit a serious response. However, I will do my best to explain the problems within this question. The theory of evolution does not state we came from monkeys, nor does it state we came from fish. It does state that we have common ancestry with the likes of Egyptopithecus. We do not come from the great apes. The apes, such as the chimpanzee, bonobo, and gorilla, are our closest cousins and, on average, share 98% of our DNA markers. If you find it difficult to compare yourself to an ape, then look at another group of animals with similar relationships. Snakes. If snakes evolved from lizards, why are there still lizards? When you look at a snake, you will see a long, slender animal with scales, a forked tongue, and no arms or legs, crawling on its belly. Though they do have all these traits in common, they are quite different from one another. They are so different, in fact, they are classified as distinct species, incapable of interbreeding. A black rat snake cannot breed with a rattlesnake, which cannot breed with a cobra, etc. These snakes are closely related cousins with common ancestry. Their differences may seem very subtle to you, but I assure you, they have no problem identifying each other. Similarly, you have no problem differentiating yourself from the apes. However, the gorilla, bonobo, chimp, and human would seem as similar to an intelligent alien species visiting this planet. We all have the same skeletal structure: 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, a nose and mouth, etc. Like it or not, we are simply talking apes with very little hair. Argument number 3. Carbon dating is unreliable for dating fossils. Now this one I agree with. You cannot carbon date fossils. That's why scientists don't use carbon dating to discern the age of a fossil. They use radiometric dating. If you take a rock to a reputable lab to have it carbon dated, they would not do the test, because carbon dating can only be done on items containing carbon. Fossils, although they were once made of carbon, are now mineral with no carbon left to test. Fossils are not actually dated. The rock layers found at the same level of the fossil are dated, since these rocks were formed during the same period as the fossil. Also, a freshly killed animal can't be tested using this method, since each method can only be used within specific date ranges. Carbon dating, for instance, is only reliable up to 50,000 years, and fossil rocks are millions of years old. There are currently hundreds of available radiometric dating methods that can be used to corroborate findings. When the appropriate tests are done correctly by a reputable lab, they are accurate within tenths of a percentage point. No one has ever successfully written a scientific paper showing these tests to be inaccurate. If you believe you can show these tests are inaccurate, please write a scientific paper, have it peer-reviewed, and become rich and famous. But you can believe this: scientists do not date rocks with the intention of refuting religious superstitions. Scientists date rocks in an effort to fill in gaps that exist in the fossil record. If you think scientists are relying on old data, know this: the fossil record is continually being updated, and it is much more vast than it was in years past. The gaps are getting smaller. Argument number 4. Chaos theory dictates that things do not become more complex over time. This equates to the watchmaker's argument, or the complex eyeball argument presented by Banana Man, Ray Comfort, and his sidekick Kirk Cameron. I will not attempt to completely explain entropy, or the second law of thermodynamics, as this would be an arduous task, worthy of a 4-year college major. The simple definition is: the second law of thermodynamics is an expression of the tendency that, over time, differences in temperature, pressure, and chemical potential equilibrate in an isolated physical system so as to result in the natural entropic dissolution of the system itself. So in order to support any postulates on the second law of thermodynamics, you must perform your experiments in a closed system. The Earth is not a closed system. The sun's radiation continually adds energy to our system. Therefore, the second law of thermodynamics will not apply or restrict evolution. There is, however, one very important thing you should understand concerning the topic. Evolution is chaotic, in that an extremely high percentage of gene mutations either cause harm to a species or have no advantage whatsoever. Very rarely does a gene mutation help a species, but when that does occur, it's easy to understand that this slight edge caused by the mutation helps to ensure that it's passed along to succeeding generations. For instance, a brighter red in a lizard's throat may be found more attractive by the ladies. So that lucky lizard gets most of the girls, and his genes, the genes that caused his sexual display to be awesome, will be passed down to his children, while the other lizards will have less of a chance getting their genes passed along. It's that simple. In conclusion, the theory of evolution is a group of facts explaining the diversity of life on planet Earth. It does not attempt to explain what started life or to determine the age of the universe. You may claim that evolution was God's plan, and He is responsible for initiating it. but you simply cannot deny evolution itself. It would be like denying gravity exists. As Daniel Patrick Moynihan has said, "You are entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." Evolution is an undeniably well-established set of facts.